episode 43, the last episode of the Western Australian mini-series.
So we're in South Lefroy Bay, which is within the World Heritage Marine. We're in South Lefroy Bay, which was...
Just drink a bit of beer.
Yeah.
Drink some beer. I think that's why.
You're right. So we're in South Lefroy Bay, which is within the World Heritage Ningaloo Marine Park. It took us about 4 hours to get here. It's only actually about 100 k's in a straight line from Exmouth, so heading south. But it was a bit of a trek getting in here. We're here for 3 nights, and this is proper bush style, desert meets the beach camping, but it is really, really windy.
So I just got back from a snorkel. It was not that good. It was pretty
way too windy.
And
But we did
was
see
strong.
a few
Yeah.
snorkels. Start again.
Okay, yeah. So we just got back from a snorkel, and it was pretty good. It was not that good. No. I said it was pretty good. I said
It was absolutely shit out.
I said it was pretty good. What the heck? Okay. So we just got back from a snorkel, and it was pretty windy. It wasn't that good at all.
It was pretty rubbish actually, but we did see quite a few turtles, didn't we?
Yeah.
4 or 5. This is going to take fucking ages, isn't it? We just
Wait. Okay.
Anyway, let's roll the footage today when we travelled down from Exmouth to here. Right, so a bit of an update. This is why you never ever rely on Google Maps. Before we left, I couldn't find any information about how we get to this campground at South Lefroy Bay. I did it on Google Maps and it did come up as a route, and I checked that on Google Earth and it definitely goes to where we want to go, but it had a locked gate. There's no other right turns. We're looking for a right turn, so we're heading south out of Exmouth, back sort of going towards Carnarvon, and there's no other right turn, so we're just driving south at the moment, hoping for a right turn.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted. Getting rattled to pieces. Sorry if the camera's moving around, it's not attached to the dashboard. I lowered the pressures down to 23 psi in the end. I didn't want to go any lower than that because I'm worried about, if they come off the bead, because they're only like the fairly narrow profile rubbishy tyres that you get often with 4-wheel drives when you buy them from new. So I'm a bit wary of that. So we've obviously dropped the pressures just so they cope a bit better, but we don't want to go too low. So we're just going to take it really, really easy. We've got quite a long way on this road. Yeah, if it was in our car, we'd be okay. We know our tyres are pretty good. Look at the termite mound. So although there wasn't stuff up with Google Earth, I did bring my own GPS as a backup. It's got the wrong waypoints in there because I did that on the old route, but at least we've got another backup option. So I think just be very mindful when you use Google Earth for planned trips. Corrugations are shocking. Please no laughing about the hoochie. We didn't have any poles, but we needed some way of getting out the sun earlier today because it's mega hot here. It's pretty much,
laugh at us.
as you can see, it's pretty much the desert.
Please don't laugh at us.
The beach. The beach is over there. You can't see. You might be able to see actually. Can't tell. But the only problem with this area, and everywhere we've been, is a no drone zone, which is a bit rubbish. And look, I've done that before. I have actually. Previously, we've put the drone up in areas that are no drone zones, and I've put some photos once on Instagram, and the feed just went ballistic with people telling me how terrible I was. So I'm not sure yet whether we're going to do it or not. So if you don't see any drone footage, that's why. If you do see some drone footage, then I've decided to, and then I'll just wait for the comments, I suppose.
So we're going to go fishing. I'm probably not going to catch anything.
Here's eating burgers. You know, we've got nothing. What we do in the middle of the day. Hoochie's not perfectly set up because we haven't got any trees or poles, so this is the best we can do, but it does work amazingly. So we'll stay out in the sun now after an hour or so, just
eating oranges,
have some water. It's a funny temperature here because it's quite cold at night. Well, it's not cold, it's just we haven't got lots of clothes with us and we didn't bring sleeping bags.
Yeah.
So we are quite cold at night, and it's quite cold first thing, and then it's within a couple of hours of the sun coming up, it gets absolutely roasted. So it's pretty hot now, hence why we're under here. So one thing about this area, so this is Ningaloo Station, so it is a working cattle farm. There's no toilets when you get here for these campgrounds, and it is compulsory that you bring your own toilet. So this is actually our toilet as well, but we've got the chemical toilet here.
It smells like poop in here. Which we
hired. It's just pleasant sitting here next to the toilet. So that's one thing to bear in mind. There is some camp volunteers at most of these sites, and they do actually check as you come in, and they'll turn you away if you haven't got those. So we were aware of that before we came. So yeah, if you are coming this way, make sure that you've got a toilet, because you won't be staying very long if you don't.
No.
So we're here for 2 more nights. And then back to Perth for 1 night, and then back home. Alright, we just had to move camera location because it just fell over off the chair, so now you're inside the hoochie with us. So it's been an awesome trip, hasn't it, so far? So we started with 1 night in Perth
in the Hyatt Hotel.
Yeah,
and that awesome. I recommend go to that hotel
if you want to treat yourself.
If you want to treat yourself, it's so nice.
It's not cheap, but it's a great hotel. We don't often stay in places like that, did we? But we thought we would on there. We were lucky enough to on this trip. And then the next so we had a quick walk around Perth. We went up to Kings Park, like the Botanic Gardens there. It's a huge garden area. We didn't have a lot of time, so we only just sort of went on the side that faces the city, so we could just get some views of the city. We then flew up to Exmouth, which is about 2.5 hours, 2 hours, something like that on the plane. We had 1 night in Exmouth in the Pot Shot Resort, which was one of their budget rooms, so more like a motel.
It was very different to Hyatt.
Very different to the Hyatt, but it was okay. It was a lot cheaper, and it was it's just like a motel really, but a decent motel. And the reason for that was so that we could get all our gear.
Had a TV, had really good channels.
Yeah, fridge, tea, coffee, toaster, things like that. Shower, just a basic motel, but pretty good. And the reason we stayed there was because we had to go into town and organise our gear, so we had to buy some extra stuff. We got some camping chairs and an esky, which we're actually going to give to the people that volunteer here. So that's good. They can take that off our hands.
Yeah.
And then we also had to pick up the chemical toilet. And then we that day, then we had a couple of nights in the RAC caravan park, which was actually really good. I like that for caravan parks. So some people don't like caravan parks. We do stay in caravan parks, probably equally, I reckon, actually, to bush camping. So it depends what kind of trip it is. Especially on a trip like this where we haven't got a lot of gear, it's great because they've got the camp kitchens and all that kind of stuff, swimming pools. That was a really good caravan park, actually. I really liked it there.
There was a swimming pool with like a rock to jump off.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
So that was good. So we based out, and that was so that we could do the whale sharks, and we could just sort of look at the Exmouth stuff around the Cape Range National Park. So we drove down the Yardie Creek Road, which is a sealed road, goes up to Yardie Creek actually, which is as far as it is as a sealed road, and then you have to cross the creek, and then you end up on a dirt road, which actually ends up here from the other way. But being in a hire car, if we were in our own car, we would have gone that way.
Oh yeah.
And explored all these beaches. So there's a few. This is all part of Ningaloo Station, which is an active cattle station.
I mean, we would have got across the thing, but I just don't.
We actually looked at it, and it looked all right. We would have been all right, but we haven't got any recovery gear. We've got no recovery points.
Yeah, we looked at it. It did
and we're not supposed to be
good.
driving off road, especially on beaches. So it's not worth the risk. So then we worked our way back from Yardie Creek. So Yardie, when we got there, it was a bit too windy, and it was early because it's pretty cold here first thing. So we didn't fancy a swim at that point. We did see the ospreys though, which was pretty cool, nesting. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then we worked our way back, and I'd already sort of researched places to go, so we decided to stop at Osprey, and that was more because that was the campground I was trying to get to stay in instead of the RAC one, but it actually was fully booked. But that was that's where the turtle was. How good was the turtle?
Oh my goodness, it was so cool.
So that was a good snorkeling beach. No current there, which was good because there's lots of currents. What happens is that as the waves come in over the reef, they then fill up the lagoon, and then it sort of travels sort of longshore, and then it goes out of reef passes back out into the ocean. So if you're near those reef passes, that's where the current sort of flushes along the beach and then back out to sea. So it is fairly currenty in a lot of the beaches. And then what was after that? That was then oyster stacks, which was that was the best snorkeling spot.
Oh yeah, far. Best snorkeling, but not as good for fishing.
No, you can't fish anywhere along that coast. It's all marine reserve, so
but
that's
also
why it's full
it was
fish.
really we cut our feet to.
Yeah, it's quite. So it's pretty sharp. It's slippery as well. But that was really good.
And we did see a shark this morning.
Yeah, banjo shark. We did, yeah. And then we went to Turquoise Bay, didn't we? And that was very turquoise. That's probably why it's not just a clever name. It's actually that was a good spot, but that was real currenty there, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's actually warning signs there. You can, in that scenario where you get in the longshore drift, which then goes out through the reef pass. So you have to be careful there. And then after that was it really for. And then we went on the whale sharks, of course, which was awesome.
That was
quite scary actually.
Terrifying, but fun.
Because the problem is there's a big southerly blowing through, which is also blowing lots of wind swell, stroke swell as well. Actually, it was big. It was like 6 to 8 foot surf, and so the whale sharks are on the other side of the lagoon, off the fringing reef. So the main part of Ningaloo, in the deeper section, that's where the whale sharks cruise up and down. So you're in open water, and like I would not recommend that for people that have never done snorkeling, because I actually found it quite scary, to be honest.
Terrifying.
Not like, so much.
You look down and it's the top of the water, which is basically like pretty light blue, and then it gets to a little bit darker blue, then really dark blue, then pitch black.
It's really deep, but I wasn't scared of that. Like, you were scared of sharks and things, weren't you, and other things?
No, I couldn't breathe. It was hard to breathe.
I just didn't like the current was horrific. So
but I was also scared of other things in the sea.
Yeah, and I just felt like we were we had 6 to 8 foot surf unloading all over that reef, and we weren't that far from that. We were only about 100 metres from it, and the current was sort of surging towards the reef. And I just didn't feel that safe, to be honest. But it was extremely windy. So I think if you got it on a day where there was no swell and no wind, it'd be amazing. But it was awesome with the whale sharks. The other problem was you were very seasick as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was really seasick, especially when we went on the top of the boat.
Yeah. So that's another thing to be mindful of. And we're on the water quite a lot with our own boats, but
yeah.
So I wasn't too concerned about seasickness, and I did feel a bit queasy as well. And there's a few other people that were pretty rough.
Yeah,
so that's another thing to be mindful of. But the company that we did it with, Ningaloo.
I definitely
was it Ningaloo Blue?
Ningaloo Blue, yeah.
They were absolutely superb, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. So I definitely recommend doing it with those. And then after that, we packed down and we came out here, didn't we? And now we're here. We're in South Lefroy Bay, which is mega hot in the daytime and quite cold. As we said, we're just getting out the sun for an hour or so. It's midday. I don't know what time it is actually. We've got no idea what the time is. But it's pretty hot now.
Yeah, I don't know where your watch is going.
And then I think that's about it. So we just made it to the end of the track. The flies are horrendous. It's really hot. It's almost 40 degrees, but I just wanted to show I've got this little 12 volt compressor to pump the tyres back up with. It just came from Super Cheap or somewhere like that. It was about 60 bucks. I've just done that tyre. It was actually not, it didn't take that long actually. I was quite surprised. So yeah, these are pretty good because obviously you don't want to be bringing a big compressor on a plane. So these are a good alternative, just for pretty lightweight, just plastic. That's it. I just thought I'd show you. It's pretty cool though. So that's it plugged in. It's just a little LED readout. So we're currently at 25 psi, and then just hit the button and off you go.
So change of plan. We're back at Exmouth and Town Beach.
Yeah, so when we looked at our flight tomorrow, it was a fair trek to get there on time, so we decided to play it safe. Drive back to Exmouth. We're back at the Pot Shop Motel for tonight, and yeah, as the butler said, we're at Town Beach.
So that pretty much wraps up our Western Australian mini-series, and I hope you enjoyed it.
We certainly did, didn't we? We've had an amazing time. A bit disappointed with the fishing. I think we're just in the wrong spots. Where there was lots of fish, it was marine reserve, so we can't fish there, but that's okay. We've had an amazing time. The snorkeling's been epic. So on the way back we checked out Coral Bay and we went for our last snorkel there, but it was a disappointing one. The visibility was not very good at all, but it is pretty cool because the coral heads and the coral is right off the beach. That's why it's called Coral Bay, but it's really cool.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video.
Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We've had a great time. We don't really want to go back tomorrow, but we have to. All holidays come to an end. I think we should do more of these fly drive type trips. They're quite good.
The next one could be
They are quite hard work though, because you've only got limited gear. Like at South Lefroy Bay, it was just, we had such limited sort of camping gear that it did make it quite difficult with the only having an esky with ice, which melted straight away really, didn't it? So we lost a lot of our fresh food, so the eating was a bit ordinary, but it was still amazing.
Yeah. Too bad we didn't see Brody Moss.
Yeah, we were hoping to bump into our favourite YouTuber, or not bump into him, but just get a passing glimpse of Brody Moss from YBS, from Youngbloods, but we didn't.
Literally our favourite YouTuber.
He's our favourite YouTuber, and he lives around here somewhere, so unfortunately we didn't see him, but the girls we spoke to on the Ningaloo Blue whale shark trip, they see him all the time in IGA and stuff like that, so it would have been cool, wouldn't it, to bump into him. And that's pretty much it. So that wraps up this episode. Hope you've had a good time. We've certainly had a good time, and if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us build the channel.
Our goal is to get to 250 subscribers.
We're nearly there. We're just under 200 at the moment. We want to get to 250. I've said if we get to 250, I'm going to treat myself to some Steedy driving lights for the car. So
yeah, Steedy,
get us there quicker, and I'll get the lights quicker. That would be awesome. Anyway, take it easy, and we'll see you in the next episode when we don't know what we're going to be doing in the next episode yet, but we'll see you. We'll be somewhere Sydney side. So take it easy, butlers.
See you, butlers.